Thank you for giving us a fabulous response on day one. So we have the final day, that's day two, and we have some fantastic speakers. Just like to start off with a keynote by Anna Gong. Anna Gong is a speaker from CA Technologies. She's the Vice President, Cloud, Virtualization and Service Automation, Asia Pacific CA Technologies. Anna is going to speak on the interesting topic of consumerization of IT and the impact of cloud. So can I request the audience to welcome her with a round of applause, please?
Thank you. Hello? Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. I know some of you guys are still trickling in through the Bangalore morning traffic. Actually, I'm going to switch up the discussion a little bit because I know a lot of us know the end goal of cloud computing. How to get there is actually the mystery to a lot of you guys, right? To a lot of major companies, service providers, suppliers, customers, partners. So today I'm going to switch up the discussion on business service innovation with cloud management and actually how we can actually get you there as a partner. So before I begin, I just want to get a consensus and a survey of the audience. How many of you guys are working in a heterogeneous environment where you're highly virtualized right now? Highly virtualized, meaning you have some type of Citrix, VMware, Microsoft, or others. I only see 3, 4, 5. Wow, less than 10 hands. So are most of you guys infrastructure management? Show your hands. Infrastructure operations. Okay. How many of you guys want to work on innovation and actually increase your credibility in the marketplace and be a revenue generator instead of an IT call center? Okay, great. So after my discussion today and my presentation, I want to get some of you guys, if you're interested, we have a book that's published on 4 ways of how to get you into cloud computing and what are some of the caveats. So we do have a book, and the first 20 people can get there earliest, we'll give you a free book on this. So let's begin the discussion today. Looking at a survey that we've done with most of the CIOs, we surveyed about 500 companies in the market globally. And the survey came back with, the CIOs can actually go through a multiple choice questionnaire, and they can have a choice of what they pick, what is changing in IT, and what's driving some of their decisions. And looking at this data, 40% of them chose the increasingly mobile and distributed workforce. 48% chose on expansion of new markets and new territories. And 57% on rapidly expanding volumes of data, big data, analytics. You hear a lot of that from IDC and so forth. And 4% of them talked about increased demand for business innovation. That is a huge chunk of the CIOs looking for service innovation, right? And we talk about IT operations, infrastructure management, and India's market is predominantly still optimized on infrastructure. So a lot of you guys, and that's why your roles are slowly trickling. And we see the complexity of moving your skill sets, whether your direct reports or your team members' skill sets, over to cloud-enabled experts. How can you become a cloud-enabled expert if you always actually were a network manager or a DBA? So this is some of the thoughts that go through the CIO's heads and your managers and your company's decision making. So I like to kind of paint the picture first, and then I'll get to the how we can get you to an optimized business service innovation. And looking at this, all of the services that we're now consumed with, talking about innovation, all of these demands about driving new revenue, cost optimization, mobility, and with all of this discussion, business demand is constantly growing, right? But with the global competition and the recession, IT budgets is falling flat, right? I would be very surprised if you're telling me that your IT budgets are increasing so much that you don't know where to spend your money. I don't think that's the scenario here, right? You're given a flat budget to deliver more, right? So then this causes the new technologies to create complexity, and how you deliver innovation if you have a flat budget, right? So then we have a big gap. How do you deliver private and public clouds, right? And so we have to talk about acceleration. How do we accelerate you to that optimized data center and cloud services and become more agile? I'm hearing a lot more use of this word agility, right? And it's not a buzzword anymore. It's not rhetoric. I went to a meeting yesterday with a pretty large company in India, and one of the GMs used agility literally almost every other sentence because that's how he's measured on. I asked him, what is his KPI? I said, what will make you successful? Service levels and quick and fast delivery to service my internal and external users. So this is some of those things that you're looking at. It's no longer about how many servers, how much money I'm saving, this and that. It's all about agility today. So business agility is driving the move to cloud, as I was saying. And the business drivers is now the heart, it forms the heart of our products and the go-to-market strategy for most companies. And looking at this, what does it mean, right? We have large enterprises that are looking at unifying the management of private, public clouds, and also the traditional IT services. What is the methods and the how we can actually do this together and form that infrastructure where we can actually have a unified management platform? Emerging enterprises talk about simplicity and speed to serve the generalist population. And MSPs is all about lowering costs and investing in cost-effective platforms because they really have a high CapEx. How many MSPs you know that in the last 2 years, this is across Asia Pacific, not just in India, you have so many SIs thinking, I can become an MSP tomorrow. So I invest a lot of infrastructure in this data center, and I'll build this infrastructure and they will come, right? Guess what? A lot of MSPs are hurting today because they cannot differentiate themselves in the market besides infrastructure as a service. How commoditized and saturated is that market today? So what is your value add? Yesterday, we actually had a session on the 3 secrets of making money in the cloud. And if you missed that session, we have a lot more content to talk to you about in our booth later. So the demand for business services is forcing a shift from an IT-centric to a business service-centric IT mentality, right? So that means it's now moving your physical and virtual environments to create a business service innovation platform. The ultimate goal for us is to actually create agility, innovation, and greater business outcome. How many of you in IT today are really talking about business, P&L, and what services you're delivering? Right? Before, it was so mundane. It was about networks and systems and how do we actually buy more gear. Today, the discussion has turned around. So it's all about delivering services. And IDC is the de facto analysts who are actually telling us that what does delivering services mean for the IT? It's the emphasis to shifting towards making investments that supports the business agility, revenue growth, and improved quality of service. So service-driven organizations, the results, and this is based on some of the outcomes that we've done with our customers, as well as the analysts who've done surveys with customers. 40% faster in deploying cloud services, 50% more effective in leveraging cloud services for better business models, 40% more likely to deploy cloud-based apps for finance, HR, and payroll, and 400% more faster or more effective in expanding cloud revenue. The concept of actually changing you guys from an IT cost center to a revenue generator is huge. And this is why I'm leading the discussion on how we can actually get you there. So what does it take to deliver an agile cloud service? How do we actually help CIOs meet the demands of the business, right? And with all of, with cloud, IT is now a supply chain. It enables IT to be a supply chain. And what does that mean? Now you can actually pull in as much services as you want, from complete applications to massive amounts of processing capacity and data storage. And you can use them as you like and pay as much as you want, or you know the cost based on the technology. Today, you don't need to be an expert to consume IT services or cloud-based technology, right? Whether you are, you're standing up a SaaS application from Salesforce.com, or a development environment like Microsoft Azure, or infrastructure like Amazon EC2, right? These are the type of tools and solutions for now the business and the IT to discuss, to leverage, because now you can pull in and just pay for what you want and what you can use. And companies are now using public cloud as an option for test and development, or maybe even for just commoditized services, so that you can focus your core competency and delivering more value to the business. And then in many cases, a lot of larger corporations are now moving into private cloud. And yesterday in the presentations with IBM and Huawei, we got educated on what private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud is all about, and what's the definition of those. So private cloud, there's a movement right now. And IT is now trying to transform the virtualization environments into delivering cloud-based services. How do we evolve from there, right? And I think that's a big question. So consider every operational touch point. So if you can think about servicing and touching every single point right here listed, the complexity is even greater. How do you become effective as an organization? So I'll go into deeper discussion on building and managing cloud. And these are the building blocks and some of the things that you need to consider and how to actually plan and optimize your cloud services. You have to start with modeling, right, before you invest in the new technologies. And then you move up the chain and figuring out how you automate and orchestrate some of the manual processes, because you have to understand your utilization. How many people are actually managing mundane data entries and operational tasks? How can you transfer some of your human resources and your capital and upskill some of your existing staffs to be cloud ready and cloud experts? And the end goal is to actually become a cloud services management where you can assure and secure and manage your platform seamlessly. So why are we talking about cloud, and what's the promise of agility, right? So many of the benefits comes with that is reducing cost and complexity. Speed, time to market. When we talk about speed, time to market, we have two approaches: the evolutionary approach and the revolutionary approach. And when you go out to our booth, you can see a revolutionary approach on speed, time to market. We have a technology that allows you to actually stand up a cloud environment in less than a week. Allows you to wrap proprietary applications on this, because think about MSPs who are stuck in this infrastructure as a service rut. What is their value add? They have no other services, to offer. So then they have to look at interesting SaaS applications. DR is a big topic right now, right? Backup as a service. But if everyone's offering just DR, it becomes, again, commoditized. Who do you go to for interesting services that is uniquely tailored to your demands? So this technology allows you to actually wrap interesting applications. And we have a company called IGT that we're working with right now. And they're a global conglomerate of a gaming consortium that they own tons of developers, 5,000 developers. They're a $2 billion company. And the gaming company is using this predominantly, this platform that we're offering, as a test and development to initiate all of their new applications, their gaming apps. And they can turn around applications and replicate those environments in an instance of minutes. So if you think about your testing and development efforts can be collapsed from months to now a couple of days to a week. That's very compelling. So what is the business value also delivering? This is what we talked about. And driving innovation. You know, some of the things I've asked, and I hope I'm not offending the audience here, the big question for me in India is, with all of the IT skills, I'm not sensing a drive for innovation. It's almost like you're consuming a lot of the technology that's already been proven for the last 3, 4, 5 years. And you're taking that status quo and you're just applying it and distributing it pervasively. How do you actually start driving more innovative technology and driving more service value add as an IT organization? And I want to challenge that, right? And I want you guys to come up to us later on and challenge us that you are comfortable in your role. You're comfortable being an IT person managing infrastructure. Because I challenge that. I think that you guys can be so much more innovative. This is the hub of IT. This is a global hub of IT. And I am actually trying to figure out how we can accelerate this community to drive more adoption of innovation. When you come to me and ask me, is this proven? Of course it's proven. It's already been developed. You know, a lot of technologies, when customers have fear and over-analytical of a piece of technology or an investment, the more you justify, the less you're going to take that risk. So with all the rewards of cloud computing comes risk, right? And the risks are, how's my security being handled? Data protection, user access, rogue IT. How many members of your IT staff now is actually downloading all these open source and unique technologies that they want to test on their own, but you don't know about it? So we actually work with a global company, and we realized this is a telco company that we worked with for many years. We actually went in there and did a whole analysis of their environment, and we gave them a report saying, you have over 3,000 applications in your environment. And we helped them eliminate 2,000 apps that were unused. Can you imagine that size of unused applications in this organization? I wonder how many applications are unused in your environment that you invested so much money for, right? And this is a global telco company. So we talk about vendor lock-in. A lot of companies want to invest in, you know, brand name gear and like VMware and UCS and EMC storage. Those are great brand names and they have quality technology, no doubt about it. However, some of the innovative technology that we want to drive towards is helping you guys understand that how do you deliver mundane tasks with commodity gear, servers, networks, so that you don't have to invest all of that and leave those robust technology for the production environment. Yesterday I was at a customer and he has EMC, he has UCS, VMware, vBlock. I mean, everything. I said, what are you using that for? He's not sure how much it's been utilized, but he bought everything. So this is fundamentally scary to know that he spent $4 million and he doesn't know the utilization is either 20 or 30% or less. So we have a cloud dilemma. Cloud computing seems like a nirvana to everyone, right? But in reality, it opens the door to a lot of risks. And how do you actually get the benefits, of being agile, fast, and innovative? And the best of both worlds, right? Being fast and innovative and secure and compliant. So we have a lot of, private and public clouds, and we're trying to consolidate those. So now I'm going to talk to you about the journey of how. And I think this is more interesting to you guys because a lot of the other stuff is marketing fluff. So talking about cloud services lifecycle, how can we get you there, right? And we start with, if you're filled with an infrastructure, a physical environment, and then you have some virtualization, and you want to actually move to the cloud, from physical to virtual to cloud. What is that journey? How do you get there? So we have to discover and run in your existing IT environment some kind of modeling concept, right? Do an entire 360. We call it a cloud 360. And when you look at modeling and figure out what is my business and service, like what is the business and service insight that I have in my infrastructure? Do I have predictive capacity and resource management? Do I know what I need to buy in the next 6 months versus just buying it because I don't know what's utilized? Surveys have said that with virtualization, you actually have less utilization. The average VM, virtual machine virtualization utilization is only 20%. Can you imagine 20%? If your boss sees a report that you only utilize 20% and you're buying additional VMs, how are you going to justify your job, right? So this is why with the visibility and the pool of resources you have, you can actually better utilize your internal infrastructure and allocate different resources to different business units. And we have developed a cloud simulator that I think a lot of you guys will find it very interesting. And it's for mostly executive level or director of IT to have an understanding of different roles. And it simulates to you a real life organization, how dysfunctional an organization is, and shows you where the gaps and challenges are. And it's a great simulation technology that allows you to guess and wonder the reality. Today's reality is that a lot of times we're so siloed. And we have no idea what the business is using, what IT is using, what test and development is using, and what production is using. There's so many silos. So modeling is a consultative approach that we take, and taking a complete snapshot of your environment and assessing that before you invest, right? The problem today is that we get so excited about new technology, and a lot of companies just want to buy more. Buy more for what? Do you know what your environment is like today? Do you need it? And let me tell you, my motto is I want you to de-invest, to invest in less servers, networks, storage. I'm here to tell you how you can save money. And assemble. How do you actually assemble different internal and external resources, right? And this is where a lot of you guys, the IT infrastructure and the teams actually have to work closely with the business. And then you store the services in a catalog. And this is really about standing up a private cloud. How do you self-provision, right? Today, we do so many things manually, and it takes so long to actually stand up one service, to deliver one service. And we have a real-life customer that took him 7 months to deliver a new application, right? We can help you collapse that to days. If you can stand up an application or a VM in just days, how does that help your operation efficiency and cost, right? Sprint is an example, another large telco that we worked with. They were about to go ahead and invest in another 100,000 square foot of data center. They were already almost to sign on the dotted line. And then we had technology that helped them predict the capacity and resource planning. And they realized that they did not need it. They had enough infrastructure in the existing data center that they had. So they actually foregone that investment in that 100,000 square foot data center. We also helped their utilization increase from 30% to 60%. How do we do that? Giving them the visibility. And this is the journey that we're talking about. How do we actually help you become a better performed organization by automating? And automation and orchestration is actually a sensitive topic because a lot of people think you're going to cut jobs. You're automating a lot of the manual processes, so I might not have a job. If I'm talking to an IT guy, yes, he may be a little threatened. But in the business, you know what, as a CIO, I'm going to offset some of this mundane work and data entry and all the basic management and automate that and move my guys over and upskill. Learn to upskill these guys to more productive skills. If we're moving into a virtualization and cloud world, how can we actually move the staff over and actually upskill the staff and actually make them more productive? And it's not about cutting jobs, right? You don't need 100 guys to run a NOC. Today, if it takes you more than 5 months to actually stand up an application, then we need to reevaluate your environment. So then we need to look at assuring and managing and how do we actually fit in with the compliance and service level, right? As we move through this journey, you model, you assemble services and internal and external resources together. You want to figure out what gears to acquire. Then you move into the automation route. Manually conducting a lot of activities is not the end goal, right? You want to be more efficient. You want to be able to orchestrate the entire processes from your networks to your from infrastructure to the applications and then to the services that you want to deliver. Right? Orchestration is a big missing piece today. If we can collapse your delivery of services from months to minutes, that's very compelling. And then at the end, how do you actually manage all of this, right? And talking about also completing it with security. Because there's a lot of compliance issues that we have to, answer to internally and externally. Breach of data, access control, prioritizing what users can access what. How do we federate the access and authenticate the access when you have a hybrid model? That's another complexity that's added. And at the end, you're actually delivering business service innovation. Because the end goal today is to actually drive more agility and become a revenue generator. And I'm not talking about products per se. We have so many great products that allows you to stand up a private cloud in less than 8 weeks. Make you become a revenue generating business in a week. I mean, how do we do that? So I like to show you in the booth, and our team is ready to actually present that to you and give you a synopsis of how actually we can get you there. So what is the Cloud Advantage? What does CA offer our customers, partners, and the ecosystem, right? When we can help you predict the need of new resources and provisioning dynamically, we can help you migrate different resources from on-demand to and from any platform. When you're talking about moving a physical infrastructure to a virtual, CA can help you migrate P to V, V to V, or V to C. A lot of people, and I'm not talking out of school here, a lot of people say VMware might be too expensive, or they want a less costly option. How do they actually migrate V to V? We can help you there seamlessly. If you want to explore Citrix or some other open source technology. And that's why we're giving you options. We're an agnostic player that manages a heterogeneous and holistic infrastructure. And then how do we actually help you aggregate and unify all of this management with so many different types of clouds in one. And the end goal is delivering agility and business service innovation. Thank you. Any questions?
If there are any questions, we'd like to request the audience to, answer them, ask them directly to Anna. Raise your hands if there are any questions.
Yes, sir.
The mic here, please.
That gentleman has a question.
Yeah, I wanted to know your opinion about this OpenStack environment that has been promoted by Rackspace.
I think it's a very interesting technology. Actually, Rackspace uses a lot of our technology to stand up their OpenStack. So that's, we can actually talk more about it privately. But I think they're a very interesting technology that's competing against Microsoft and Amazon and those guys. We don't compete with them. We actually complement them, and they leverage some of our technology to stand up their stack. Yes.
What are the newer skills and competencies you feel the CIO would require to develop in this IT organization for them to migrate seamlessly to cloud?
So that's a very interesting question, and thank you for asking. I've seen a lot of CIOs actually move a network person to become a cloud expert and start managing virtualization without any training. And it's failed miserably, right? If there is a development program, and actually we also come with a lot of educational and certification programs available for our customers. And we can actually work with you guys to partner together, see how we can actually invest in your team to actually allow them to leverage how to stand up a private cloud environment. What are some of the skill sets that are required? What kind of virtualization expertise do they need to have previous to coming to this certification class? So we can partner with you, and I can actually negotiate with you to see how the journey we can actually take together. And we actually are very compelling in terms of packaging a phased approach. And we try to teach these customers and partners how to be more innovative in a consultative approach, right? Cloud is all about go-to-market. It's all about go-to-market. It's how you drive revenue. Okay, we can stand up, technology is great, and I'm telling you about our technology is great as well. But when you look at cloud, yesterday we had 3 secrets to actually making money in the cloud.
Okay,
That's where I would like to actually have a workshop with you guys on.
Okay, I can just take one last question. If you can state your name and then ask the question, please.
Yeah, Jason Bloomberg with ZapThink, up here. You mentioned the problem of shadow IT or rogue clouds, where individuals and organizations can just go on a public cloud, provision instances, and put confidential data on there or whatever. How do you deal with that problem?
Can you repeat that? It was really hard to hear.
Well, you mentioned the problem of shadow IT or rogue clouds, where individuals and organizations can bypass their management infrastructure and provision their own instances. And that can be a real regulatory and security problem. So how would you handle that?
So without the right management platform, without the visibility into who's actually doing what in the organization, we have so many silos, as you were saying. When you actually instill a security compliant technology and standards, we really are missing standards, right, in a lot of this cloud space. I haven't seen a community that wants to drive a standard. It's about standardizing your own unique infrastructure, right? And if we can actually create a consortium to say, what is the standard security compliance model that I can use as an organization, whether I'm a bank or a telco. And we have actually workshops that can tell you and work with you the how to get there. So like I said, the compliant issue with data breaching, data loss protection, access control, what users can access what, and how do we authenticate. So there's a lot of standardization and compliance around that, and we actually have a model that can help you.
Okay, I'm afraid we have lost, we're short of time, so maybe you can catch Anna offline at the booth and ask her more questions.
So 20 books we're giving away on how and the caveats of cloud. So come out to our booth. First 20
Thank
people.
you, Anna. And on behalf of UBM India and the Cloud Connect team, just like to hand over Anna a small moment of our appreciation.